Oh, yes. You see the title, right? And you know what we come in here to do. We come in here to see what is going to go down. Ha! Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Pow! Sensei Kwabin here. Moment with the master. Number 37. Family, welcome back into the dojo. Ha! We're moving with the same drum beat as usual. The same drum beat as usual. Today, wanna know what? There is no backup plan. There is no backup plan. There's nothing back there. Peeled the curtain back. Looked. Plan A didn't work. No backup plan, family. We got to come in now and stand on the square of our own deliverance, in a way. Not spiritually speaking, right? But we are our own backup plan. No one's coming to save us. No one's coming through the door. No one has come through the door in a long time. We've been looking at the door, listening for the doorbell. Knock, knock. There's nobody there. A lot of people asking, where is my deliverance? Where's my play? Where's my chance? Where's my ship? No one is even willing to save us. It's not happening, right? We're moving now into a day and age and phase where new remedies are required. We're going to talk about it today. So, I have a question. What's your smart play? What's your smart play in this day and age? I have an answer, but I'm asking you, what's your smart play? In my estimation, in my view, in my reflection, value is the smart play. Value is the smart play. Delivering value is the smart play because people know that resources are strained, right? What we have available to us to protect and provide for those that we care for and that we have charge over, they're becoming more and more limited, right? They're closing in. They're compacting a bit, right? We see what's going on all through the country. Joblessness going on like crazy. Firings, right? Limiting people's means of being able to show up and do something to provide what they need for life and existence. There's no backup plan. There is no backup plan. So it's like self-reliance. Today, it's sink or swim. Value is the smart play. Doors are going to be closing if we don't bring value. There are going to be limited opportunities to develop coalitions that have any true and real meaning and any true and real measures of results. Limited without bringing value, right? They're lowering the boom day by day. We hear it time by time, issue by issue, item by item, development by development. Clank, 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 boom. They're lowering the boom. They're lowering the boom. And now, the way that the environment looks for what we need to do, the way that things are shaping up, the way that the landscape looks, right? The way that things are formulating, today's competition, it's not even people competition so much. Today's competition is competition with computers. It's competition with the future of robots in human and personal development. It's competition with AI, artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence, and the displacement that's going to happen, the jobs that's going to erode, the tasks that it's going to move out the way, the disruption to the economy, that whole effect on joblessness, CGI, right? Robotic behavior, behavioral predictors, how they will use that and interdisperse that into how they manage economies and how they roll out stimulus and all of the above, the transformation of our financial system to a digital economy, the limitation of acquiring assets and any real assets, the limitations in the low amount of housing stock and affordable housing stock at that, the diminishing idea of owning a home, all of this is in our landscape. They're lowering the boom. Clank, 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 boom. You know, what's not at stake? If our survival is not at stake, then our quality of life is at stake. If our quality of life is not at stake, then our prosperity is at stake. If our prosperity is not at stake, then maybe the influence and the impact that we have on our families and the world around us is at stake. And if none of that is at stake, if your survival is not at stake, your quality of life, your prosperity, the impact and the influence that we have on our world and people's around us, if none of that is at stake, then maybe then that means that's a signal that we may be part of the ruling class, right? Or our lives are just so insulated and bubbled that nothing really has an impact or an effect on us, that we have it set up and strategized in such a way that we're 360 degrees of protection, possibly, right? But for the most of us, we are dealing with something at stake in this changing dynamic of our world environment. We're dealing with survival issues, paying bills, putting food on the table, protecting, right? Health insurance, all of the above. Medicines, everything is up on the table and it's being negotiated away now. Quality of life is impacted by that. Our prosperity is being impacted by that. Who has an idea of the prospects or the propensity to look toward retirement? They pushed back the Social Security age from 65 to 67 many years ago, but now that doesn't even look like it's going to be there. Or if it's going to be there, it will not be such an amount that will be able to sustain people in the new economic age. Social Security in the digital economic age? What type of transformations will be needed? So all that stuff is at stake, but if that's at stake, and if there's going to be something, if there's going to be something that is put in place to address all those new limitations, all those new developments, then it's going to come with conditions. It's going to come with terms. There'll be a new type of lockdown. The pandemic, that, in my estimation, was somewhat of a simulation to gather data on human dynamic behavior in the face of stressed scenario. That's how I see it. Whether it was designed that way, certainly you never let any good calamity go to waste, right? So they definitely took the data and observed, 80% followed. 10% was on the fence. That's 90, another 10, not happening. Okay, we got the 80, 10, 10. So they know how we're going to respond already. So there'll be a new lockdown. There'll be a new element that's introduced that causes some variation in how the masses are managed. It's already happening. Anybody heard of what's happening in DC right now? New lockdowns. Public safety is at stake. New lockdown. There's a new pandemic. New lockdown. The markets are going crazy. Tumult in the markets. There's a dive, there's a dip, there's a depression. New lockdown, no selling. So we have to be aware that we are going to be facing at some point this dynamic of change in the future that's going to challenge all of us to be able to stand up and face our daily activities, our daily lives. So to me, I have an idea, right? With these limited liberties that may be coming and eroding all areas of life: health, education, retirement, home ownership, saving, investing, travel, leisure, right? All of it, food. The new survival strategy, I call it independent interdependence. Oh yeah, we talked about self-reliance at the beginning. We talked about value as the smart move, as the new smart move. I call it independent interdependence, because what's going to be required is cooperative living will be necessary to be able to deal with encroaching government, encroaching world order, encroaching things that close in on our economies, our personal economies, right? The amount of resources that we have at our disposal is going to compact. And how we respond is going to be dependent on how strong we show up as units, right? Those who are out there alone, walking in the rain with just that one umbrella, that wind might snatch that umbrella. But a group could build a shelter. So we need independent interdependence. And why independent interdependence? Because the fee to get into a cooperative, you got to meet their baseline standard. And groups are going to keep it that they really only want or allow people who bring some value to the table to become a part of that group. So you got to meet their baseline standard. And groups are going to keep it that they really only want or allow people who bring some value to the table to become a part of that group, so they can be sure that you have the strength to contribute something to make the group stronger and not weaken the group. So value is the new smart move. How are we creating value for ourselves that we can share in the marketplace? How are we developing value? Can we grow something? Can we sew something? Can we fix something? Can we do plumbing? Can we do electrical? Can we provide something of value that's going to make the group so that when we have to rely on cooperatives, that we are bringing something to get in the door? So cooperative living will be necessary. We see it now. The housing stock is not what it used to be. It's not even available to the person at a moderate to low income. To move into the market for housing, affordable housing right now at moderate to low income is almost not accessible, almost in any part of the country, and definitely not in the high cost areas. And if you do make yourself accessible to the housing stock, it might be in an area that's undesirable, might be a higher crime area, might be an area that doesn't have good food sources, might be an area that's far away from transportation, might be an area that has questionable water supply, might be an area not access to shopping, not access to job markets, traveling far, all of that. We need independent interdependence. It's a new survival strategy. Cooperative living will be necessary. So I say pick a side, pick a team, pick a person, link up or be subject to a new degree of stress and strain on all aspects of whatever it is that we have. A new degree of stress and strain, toiling, working, unending work that will erode our physical health, mental health, emotional health, and will drive us closer to that day where we see our last. So this survival tactic is part of building a base under us for a certain quality of life. It'll be necessary. It doesn't matter what degree and level of security we have now, because all of it is going to be stressed. Yeah, I got it together now. All of it is going to be stressed. You're going to be out here walking with maybe an umbrella, and hope that umbrella holds up. Hoping the umbrella holds up in a storm, in an economic storm, in a health storm, in a security storm. What happens if we go to war? Are we all going to war? Are the youngest and the strongest and the brightest amongst us going to war? If they go to war and the younger decimated, who's going to take care of the older who are growing in their percentage of population in our economy? What are we doing? We have have to prepare for the reality that we are going to be stressed and strained in ways that cause people to respond to the world around them. And it's going to get very challenging. It's going to get very, very challenging. Some people need to come down to the dojo and learn a couple of things because it's going to be necessary. You're going to need to know how to bow, bow, and get out of there. Right? Pick a side, pick a team, pick a person, link up. There are no protections out here anymore. Right? People are now, we're realizing, are walking liabilities. And so what we're introducing is saying, hey, we're saying build up the value so that when we go to seek cooperative living, that we are not a walking liability, walking out here with one umbrella and a crazy storm. To quote that dynamic poetic of comedic talent, Fred G. Sanford, you big drummy. We gotta change. We gotta make a funky, dope maneuver and switch, have a mindset switch to avoid and to counteract the limited liabilities. Some of us are dealing with a seat and a core of pride that is just unimaginable. You know why? Because we think, looking out farsightedly, that this will not affect us in a way that it is being projected to affect us. The degree and the level of pride, geez, we just, pow! Snap out of it. That pride will go with you, and you know what the pride is going to do? The pride is going to mix. The pride is going to mix with the bile acid in your empty stomach. And it's going to be causing a regurgitation that is just distasteful. Pride is not a good meal. Pride is not a good meal, and nobody wants to eat a part of it. So don't eat pride. Don't let it mix with the bile in your stomach, in your empty stomach. We want to be able to develop positive momentum and develop areas of personal improvement and growth. We want to push. We want to produce until something helps. Produce until something harnesses our energy that gives us that momentum to push forward. The next economic crisis, the next economic earthquake, the next pandemic, the next energy crisis, it's going to cause a lockdown. DC is just a fire drill. The pandemic was an evaluation, a data accumulation project. DC is a fire drill. You're watching? You're protesting? Oh, that's good. It's going to happen anyway. This is poised to happen. The government lockdown, again, is poised to happen. So where's the mindset shift? Here's 5 strategies for dealing with the stresses and the stressors and the strains of these coming times that we can start to put into practice now. 5 strategies. We already talked about number 1 is start to develop a propensity toward cooperative living. I'm not saying that we got to live in the same place with someone. I'm saying cooperative living where we are interreliant. We're bringing production, we're bringing something, we're bringing a resource, we're bringing a talent, we're bringing a knowledge, we're bringing the energy to the table that helps form a cooperative that can work to counteract some of the negatives that we see coming down the pike. Cooperative living. Number 2, try to bridge the gap or get in the pipeline of the mix of farm to table. Farm to table. Right? Farmers markets, vegetable markets, delivery channels, apple orchards, supporting people who bring fresh vegetables and fruits, and starting to change the dynamic of how we consume calories. This is a life hack. Farm to table involves how we consume calories, what we eat. Redevelop our taste buds to develop into something unique and different. Number 3, get back in the game. Some of us has fell off the side. The ideology of what we have of moving into progress with our vision, with our talent, with our enterprises, with our thoughts, ideas, and measures, and hopes and dreams, we fell off the side. Get back in the game. Hey, we'll even put you back in the half court. You ain't got to start at the end. Half court, get back in the game. Right? You won't have to go the whole length of the court. Just start. Start moving. Start moving into pick back up exactly what it is that we know that we're supposed to be doing and focus laser sharp like on those things. Right? Laser sharp like on those things. Number 4, accelerate over obstacles. Don't let nothing hold you back. Don't let nothing hold you back. Don't let anything dampen the science of your movement. Don't let anything dampen the science of your movement. Number 5, we say regenerate and push. Regenerate means that sometimes we got to remediate things. Sometimes we got to renew things, right? Regenerate and push. Regenerate and push. Regenerate over those things that are holding us back. And we talked a lot about this in Cancel the Boogeyman, right? We talked a lot about this in Cancel the Boogeyman and talking about how we deal with the past, right? So we got to change that mindset, right? And survival instincts need to kick in at this point in time. No clink, 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 boom when it's lowered and we get caught off guard. We are our own backup plan. It's sink or swim, family. Work on that independent interdependence so that we can move into cooperative living and move into a way that helps us sustain the oncoming challenges that are certainly to roll down the mountain. This is Sensei Kwabin, your beneficial sensei with Moment with the Master number 37. And as you know, family, I enjoy talking to you. I'm up out of here. Chisa!